Good morning and welcome to this week's episode of Positive Vibes, making positivity and gratitude louder in a podcast world. And I'm your host, Shane Nikolic. And today I'm going to be having a Zoom call with Natrice Spicer. If I remember correctly, she. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. I forgot I have to do this. Get over to this screen. Okay, let's start over. I got that going a little early. Yeah, at any rate, welcome to another edition, this week's edition episode of Positive Vibes, making positivity and gratitude louder in a podcast world. And I'm your host, Shane Nikolic. Today I'm going to be having a Zoom call with Nutri Spicer. She's a life coach, uh, and I connected with her on Gary V's community post he did a while back. Um, yeah, I'm going to be talking with her. Actually, let me back up. I'm sorry. We connected on Gary V's post for the community. He did a post a while back. He just said, hey, look, everyone post your age, sex, location. We're going to do this whole AOL style, age, sex, location. And then put in a sentence or two about what you can give to the community and maybe a sentence or two about what you can get from the community, what you're looking for. And so, I chimed in, put age, sex, location. Hey, look, I got a radio show I do weekly, and I'm looking for guests, guests to come on my radio show and talk about positive things. And anyway, I gave a little background of it, and Mitrice was one of those people that such as last week, my guest Noelle from New Mexico, she was one of those people, and that answered the call and said, "Hey, I'd love to be on your show," and just adding positivity and gratitude to the world. And this is what I do, and so here we go. And this morning, I'm hoping there wasn't another um, mix up with the time difference because yeah, it's like um, Beatrice is. If I remember correctly, she's in Philadelphia. So if I remember right, that's East Coast time. So yeah, there's 3 hours difference there. Um, and hopefully she didn't, or hopefully she's okay. And just a matter of mixing up the time difference. I don't know. She's a life coach. Maybe she's pretty busy and uh, got the time slot mixed up. Got it filled in with something else. Um, but yeah, it's like hey, that's life. There's a lot going on, and it's like I was yesterday. I attended yesterday morning. I've been meaning to for a couple of years, or a year or so, however long she's been doing it, a few months or a year, maybe a little more. Um, been meaning to get together. Of course, things have been thrown off course with COVID and this what I like to call anti-social distancing. They say it's social distancing, but hey, come on, it's distancing, so therefore it's pushing us apart. Therefore, anti-social, sort of jokingly. But yeah, at any rate, I'm just yeah. Yesterday morning, I finally made it to my friend Kristen's group circuit training. Um, jump around, doing a bunch of move around, doing a bunch of exercises at different stations, and this happens to be outdoors, during on the football field at the Sunset Shed Stadium at Sumner High School in Sumner, Washington, and it was like 31 degrees outside. There was still frost on the football field. But, laid out our yoga mats and proceeded to jog around the track there and a couple times, and then just got down to it and did the exercises, and it's like that was super cool just to be able to participate in that, and yeah, just to get together. I I knew there was like what I think five of us, and I knew all the others from in the local running community except for one, and it's like we met and now we're connected on social media, and so it's like and hopefully we run and you know maybe go to the street circuit training together again. Um, but yeah, at any rate, finally got to do that. Made the time. Quinn did it. Felt good about that. And then um, yesterday afternoon, I went to the celebration of life for a longtime friend of mine. I had known this guy for like 30 years, 29 years, something like that. And um, yeah, he he passed on almost a year ago. He passed away, and due to COVID and not being able to get together, there wasn't a ceremony, funeral, or celebration of life. And so, fortunately for the family and friends, um, both of those happened within the past couple days. And yeah, it's like, it brought it brought it to brought it fresh to mind that you know going to this celebration of life. It's like I I got to thinking about it, and I much would have rather than because moving different places and illnesses and so forth, and now COVID, having to stay apart anyway for safety. Um, um, it's like drifted apart. Hadn't really been as close as I wish I could have been with this friend of mine, and but it's like um, it was yeah. At any rate, it just brought to mind, and I even put this in my post on social media yesterday. About how it brings to mind that we need, for myself anyway, I need to be celebrating all the time. Celebrating who's in my life, celebrating, just living life. It's phenomenal, every day we wake up and I'm grateful to be here, grateful to be alive, grateful to wake up one more time, grateful for this opportunity I've been granted, it's like due to illness and COVID, disease, you know, not everyone is accident, what have you. Not everyone is granted this opportunity every day, all the time, and sometimes the wording may suck here, but the privileges are revoked, and it's like not necessarily in that light, but it's like the whole thing's just comes to an abrupt end, and um, yeah, at any rate, it's like just live while you can, go on that vacation, ask that girl out, just love the people that are in your life, and show them and tell them, that you appreciate them in your life. while you still can. Live life while you're still alive, because when you're not, you can't. Um, yeah, at any rate, I'm still waiting for my guest to hop on the Zoom call. Um, for now, I'm just going to read another section of my book, Live the Passionate Life. Sorry, my camera is not working this morning, for whatever reason. I don't know. I tried switching cameras, but it's just not working this morning for me. So I'm just going with that. Um, Here we go. I'm going to go off of page 78 out of my book that I wrote, Live the Passionate Life and Quit Settling for Survival. I feel that a very important key to living the passionate life lies in our relationships with others. Whether they are relationships with family, friends, coworkers, or acquaintances, how we relate to other people has a direct influence on our ability to live life in a way that is growth oriented. If we have rocky relationships because of an inability to be deeply and honestly intimate with anyone, then we are apt to stifle and suppress our overall level of confidence in life. I have experienced this and can vouch that it is true. In the past, relationships have ended or simply weakened over my lack of intimacy. Um, yeah, here, just a second. I forgot to set this up earlier. I'm going to set this up. Just bear with me here. I'm still here. I'm just setting up my phone. Um, Gonna try and reach some more people. I can put this on my another social media. Um, let's see. Okay, just one moment here. Okay, it says you are now live. So now we're on Instagram on IG Live. Um, let's see. I'll just start that over. I'm reading a section out of my book that I wrote, Live the Passionate Life and Quit Settling for Survival. And this is from page 78. Oh, yeah. Hi, Instagram Live. Yeah, you're now on my show, Positive Vibes, here at VT Radio Universal in Tacoma, Washington. And here we go. I'm going to start that section over. I feel that a very important key to living the passionate life lies in our relationships with others. Whether they are relationships with family, friends, coworkers, or acquaintances, how we relate to other people has a direct influence on our ability to live life in a way that is growth oriented. If we have rocky relationships because of an inability to be deeply and honestly intimate with anyone, then we are apt to stifle and suppress our overall level of confidence in life. I've experienced this and can vouch that it is true. In the past, relationships have ended or simply weakened over my lack of intimacy. When they have ended, I did not realize the issue of intimacy at the time and just considered the breakup to be because I was insufficient to be in a good relationship. This not only led to my lack of confidence in relationships with girlfriends, but it helped fuel my continued lack of confidence and or motivation in life. I had already been diagnosed with depression and fatigue, and the major breakup only served to depress me even further. When I first started being in a relationship with my wife, I recalled that I did not want another breakup to be the result of a problem with intimacy. Thus, I was thoroughly honest and open with her from the get-go, making certain to tell her every single one of my deepest, darkest secrets. I figured if we got everything out in the open between us at the beginning, there would be no surprises down the road. We were completely honest with each other then, and we still are so now. Although this, what I'm referring to in the book by saying now, this was when we were still together. 5 years ago. It's actually 5.5 years ago was when I wrote this book. Actually, yeah, 5 years ago. Um, at any rate, we are open books with each other, and I feel it is that intimacy coupled with a very strong love for one another, which will help to ensure the strength of our marriage for many, many years to come. Yeah, it it was something else that yeah, the, I don't know, maybe partly that because of our divorce. Anyway, without going into that, in past relationships, I was too wrapped up in myself to see what I needed to do to keep my partner's needs fulfilled, so far as what she needed from me to be happy in our relationship. Relationships or partnerships are two-way streets. Both people need to participate. When it happens that only one person is fully present and participating, they begin to feel alone and unappreciated in their work. When both people are contributing what they can to the relationship, both people then reap the benefits of the relationship and feel more satisfied. When it comes to relationships with family, I have a multitude of them with so many family members. I will just say that my family should be labeled as a nuclear family. I've seen that term somewhere. Um, I put quotation marks around nuclear because I do not mean the textbook definition of the term, as it is two parents and their children. In my family, there have been divorces, remarriages, and adoptions. The way I have always been is that once I am close enough to say someone is a family member, I consider that person a member of my family from that point on, regardless of divorce, since I am not the one getting the divorce. I try to stay connected to family members, but as of late, I have been working on both self-development and my relationship with my wife. Hence, I have essentially been isolating myself from my family. I have not always been as close to all of the members of my family as I would have liked to have been. But the relationships are there, and that is what counts. Is it not? I have heard it said that being occupied with the business of one's personal life is no excuse for not showing more attention to family members. This is definitely a point I need to work on. Or better yet, I simply need to show more attention to members of my family that do not live under the same roof as myself. The only family members that live with me are my wife and pets. And of course, now I have neither. I live with roommates. Um, so that leaves a lot of people that I need to get reconnected with. Admission of the problem is the first step. Now I just need to get reconnected. I do not mean to offend any of my coworkers or acquaintances, but relationships with coworkers and acquaintances, for me anyway, tend to be easier. This is because there is less intimacy involved, quite possibly because of the fact that less time is spent with these people. Since less time is spent with them, we have less chance and are less apt to go into deep conversations with them, let alone be intimate and bare our souls to them. Sometimes we are open with these people simply because we are open books, allowing everyone to see the true person we really are. I prefer to be an open book with people. There was a time when I was not very open simply because I was fearful of being judged. I did not care to share my fears because I would be called weak. For that matter, I would not share any of my defects of character for fear that I would be thought of as a lesser person. The fact that I failed to take into account was that people probably saw my defects long before I became aware of them. Now that I have awakened and am conscious and aware of my defects of character, I can keep an eye out for them and stomp them out, should they rear their ugly heads. When they do pop up nowadays, I am aware of them almost as soon as they appear. This is because I now live without them more than with them. When they do pop up, I recognize them almost immediately as something that should not be there so that I can eliminate them from whatever my current state of being may be. For a long time, especially during my days of intoxication, I just roared through life, flashing my defects of character everywhere I went, not really caring who I offended or what people thought of me. I was a tornado, roaring through the lives of others, inattentive to the destruction I was leaving in my wake. When I would slow down at times, I would take note of the damage I had caused, only to go back to storming and wreaking havoc. Now that I have a clear mind to see and think with, I am aware of my actions and their consequences. I know that if I wake up in a bad mood and I am not constantly aware of how I am conducting my actions and behaviors throughout the day, I can totally ruin the day for everyone I come into contact with, including myself. If I notice myself being negative, I have the option to either continue that way or to change my thinking from negative to positive. I have trained myself to the point that most of the time anyway, I am aware of my state of being when I awaken in the morning. If it is one of negativity, I switch it right then and there by saying to myself, stop it. Today has the potential to be an amazing day. Make it so. Please, God, help me to remain positive. Up to this point, I have touched on the concept of being progressive in contrast to being regressed. I am confident when I say that people tend to like moving forward more than they like moving backwards. When I look back at my when I look back at my life up to this point, I do not like to think about the times when I lost progress and slid backwards. Thoughts about such times may come up from time to time, but it is dangerous for me to dwell on them for too long, as they will cause me to be filled with regret, which is just mental regression. If I want to stay on the path of progress, I must keep my mind fresh and new, focused on the present and what I am bringing to it. Do I really want to be bringing thoughts of regret about my past into my present when they will only when they will only help to produce thoughts of doubt about the future and in turn cause me not to act in the present? That would not help me to keep moving forward. So I must do my best to keep my thoughts of regret to a minimum. I may not be happy about certain points in my past, and I may wish they would have been different, but I should just think, that happened in the past and I cannot go back and change it. So I will just stay positive about the present and focus on what I can do right here and now. I can then move I can then continue moving forward in a positive direction instead of regressing into negative thoughts and feelings about things that I can do nothing about in the first place, which would keep a damper on my present and consequently my future. If we aim for our position in the future to be further ahead than where we are right now, we need to remain positively confident that we can do whatever it is we need to do to get there. We cannot be positively confident if our minds are filled with negative thoughts about our inabilities of days gone by and carrying those inabilities into the present. We need to focus on what needs to be accomplished today in order to get where we want to be tomorrow, and we need to be positively confident. Let me reiterate that. We need to be positively confident that we can do it. We need to set aside the inadequacies of the past and realize that we are enough to take on the present. For years, I did not think that I was enough, that I was unworthy of having abundance in my life. Even though others may have seen potential in me and I may have glimpsed it myself, I was still of the mindset that I had all these things blocking my path, so I was just not going to start something I would not be able to finish. The path to abundance. I was sorely mistaken. I had abundance. It was all around me. I simply failed to tap into it. There is a line from The Wizard of Oz when Glinda the Good Witch said to Dorothy, "You had the power all along, dear," or "You had the power all along, my dear." Rather than focusing on what I could do, I was looking at what I thought I could not do. So long as I was paying more attention to what I thought I could not do, the things that I could do remained impossible. As I was saying earlier, I've been reading books by, watching videos of, and listening to audio of motivational speakers off and on through the years. However, it was not until I got into the work of Brendon Burchard that I was truly awakened. I have heard the saying many times, when the student is ready, the teacher shall appear. It would appear that I am finally ready because I have now begun to be able to tap into my true potential and the knowledge that I can reach any dreams I may have. We must remain aware that we have done a really good job of getting through seemingly impossible situations up until this point in time, and as such, we will continue to persevere so long as we continue to put forth the effort. Let us keep moving forward toward our dreams, pushing for that which we are passionate about. We will not see the fruition of our dreams if we do not keep a forward motion going in the direction of them. Too often are people distracted by every little movement or bright shiny object on the shoulder of the path of progress. We must put on blinders and see past all of the distractions so that we can clearly keep a vigilant eye on the road ahead of us, the one that leads to our dreams. We must look back at the imprisoned life we led in the past and be ever so grateful that we are not locked up and held back from growing and reaching for the life that we truly dream of. We must look at the pleasant life we were stuck in for a time, being thankful that we do not have to stay there, where life is simply pleasant and we are no longer seeking to grow and reach for more. We must look in our hearts and minds, decide what we are passionate about, and strive to courageously follow the path toward our dreams. The path will be rocky and uneven at times, but we must not falter. We must keep our attention focused on our vision of where we are going and leave the past in the past. We must keep moving forward and be sure not to rest for too long at any particular point along the journey, else we grow stagnant and give up on our dreams. We must remain passionate about living life and traveling along the path of progress, ever advancing toward our dreams. I have found that the true adversary of life is not death, as it will be the end of every life anyway. The true adversary, which we all have the ability to escape from, is a detachment from being fully present and alive, experiencing the here and now for all that it is. We must reattach our passion for the present. Instead of dividing our mental faculties between thoughts of regrets of yesterday or worries about tomorrow, let us maintain our focus on the here and now. Let us keep our minds focused on what we can do to get us closer to where we want to be tomorrow. Um, let's see, just leaving. So I had a couple viewers on my IG live. Um, yeah, I'll keep going for a little bit here. Um, we must get back on the path to our dreams and quit living our lives for others and doing the things in our lives that others would have us do. If we do not remain vigilant about staying true to the path we are on, we can easily be distracted by the shiny gleam of another path that others say we should be on instead. Let us reclaim our life's agenda. Let us live our lives and go after that which we, not others, are passionate about. If we set up our minds and lives as others would have us do, our lives become theirs and not our own. I do not want to get to the end of my life only to realize that I did not even live my own life as I was fulfilling someone else's agenda for my life. If we are living the prisoned or the pleasant life, we stand a chance of living someone else's agenda. If we are living the passionate life, then we are living our own lives, vigorously chasing our own dreams and passions. We will know that we are on the right path because we will feel a much greater sense of satisfaction and joy and knowledge that we, and not others, have the power to dictate where our lives will take us. Yeah, it's like, wow. Um, okay, I'll keep going. That paragraph is so powerful. Yeah, I read, but I'm going back, and reading this stuff. I wrote it, I wrote this book myself, and it's like going back and reading this. It's like, wow, I wrote that. That's pretty powerful. Good morning, Allison. Yeah, I my my Zoom call's not. Uh, my guest didn't hop on the Zoom call, and so I'm just reading out of my book. Um, I'm gonna actually go back and read that last paragraph again. It's just so powerful, and I feel it in my soul. Um, of course, I feel it because I wrote it. It's true for myself. We must get back on the path to our dreams and quit living our lives for others, doing the things in our lives that others would have us do. If we do not remain vigilant about staying true to the path we are on, we can easily be distracted by the shiny gleam of another path that others say we should be on instead. Let us reclaim our life's agenda. Let us live our lives and go after that which we, not others, are passionate about. If we set up our minds and lives as others would have us do, our lives become theirs and not our own. I do not want to get to the end of my life only to realize that I did not even live my own life as I was fulfilling someone else's agenda for my life. If we are living the prisoned or pleasant life, we stand the chance of living someone else's agenda. If we are living the if we are living the passionate life, then we are living our own lives, vigorously chasing our own dreams and passions. We will know that we are on the right path because we will feel a much greater sense of satisfaction and joy and knowledge that we, and not others, have the power to dictate where our lives will take us. When it comes to the past, I thought I had come to terms with and released all of those things that may end up blocking me from a better present and future. The truth that I really had, the truth is that I really had not done so. Yes, I had come to terms with these things, but I had not fully accepted that I could move past them. Now I have. What I see now, or what I now see, is that the only thing or person who has been blocking me from carrying on down the right path toward my dreams and goals was me, my inner demons, all of which are and have been thoughts or feelings based on fear, have run the game for entirely too long. It is time to quash any fears I may have and let go of my demons. They have held me down for far too long, and it is time to rise up and live the passionate life. Too often in my life, I have too often in my life I've listened too well when others have told me to slow down and be careful, so far as my life's direction is concerned. I have also told myself the same thing at times. Both mine and others' cautionary directives for my life have kept me in the present or pleasant lives, as I have been too fearful to advance toward my dreams. Now I see that my fears have been hurting me more than keeping me safe, as I have not advanced in life due to unwarranted fears that I was inadequate or undeserving of a better life than I had. I had grown to be grateful for the life that I had and not continue trying for anything better. Having an attitude of gratitude is the best way to be, but mine seemed to hold me where I was. I needed to expand it so that I could also see and be grateful for my ability to reach higher. I am now free of the grip that my fears have had on me, and I can see that while I am grateful for what I do have in my life, I am capable and deserving of so much more. I have heard it said that change requires at least a little bit of insanity. If we haven't yet reached our dreams and find that our movement toward them has slowed or stopped, then it is now time to be a bit crazy and get moving in the direction that we want to go. It is time to get it is time to rid myself of any doubts caused by myself or others and declare that from now on I shall advance with abandon, abandoning anything that is suppressing my ambitions, leaving it behind me. I will advance toward my dreams and goals. I always say that it is better to have an attitude of gratitude than one of satisfaction. When a person is grateful for what they have and for what they have been given, they need to be, or they tend to be happier people. Life means something and they have an idea of what their purpose is and what direction they shall go with their lives. I will attest that when I am sad, my entire attitude goes in the crapper. I lose track of any particular direction I was previously going in and any motivation to move at all. The world today is filled with negativity. There's a plethora of positivity in the world as well, but for some odd reason, people tend to gravitate toward the negativity. I, for one, do not believe that we were born to be sad and miserable and stay sitting on our butts in a big pool of pessimism. I am of the mind that we are born to be happy, joyous, and free as we progress toward our dreams. My higher power is a positive, loving, caring God who only wants the best for me. Every now and again, whenever my attitude starts to lean toward the negative, I simply ask him to guide me back into gratitude and out of satisfaction. I also do my own part of the work and start thinking of the things I have to be grateful for. Often the simple act of making a gratitude list is enough to create joy in my heart. Maybe it is such a widely suggested practice because it helps to keep people grateful and joyous. I know I feel better about myself and the world around me and have a much better attitude when I remain focused on the positive points in my life. I do not totally ignore the negative things as that is an unhealthy thing to do, but rather deal with it so it can make room for more things that are positive. So long as I stay in the mindset of being grateful for all the positivity I have in my life, joy cannot escape me. Happiness and joy are often confused as being one and the same, but they are not. They are simply two versions of the same positivity. Happiness is defined as a temporary feeling based on outward circumstances, while joy is long lasting and based on our inner being, more of a spiritual condition. Of the two, I would rather have joy, as it is here to stay with me at least a little while longer. I shall practice joy and gratitude. And I think I'll stop there in reading. And yeah, this 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 first paragraph I read today, or this paragraph that I read here is powerful. I don't know. I think I'll read it again. It's just bam, it's right there. Feel it. We must get back on the path to our dreams and quit living our lives for others, doing the things in our lives that others would have us do. If we do not remain vigilant about staying true to the path we are on, we can easily be distracted by the shiny gleam of another path that others say we should be on instead. Let us reclaim our life's agenda. Let us live our lives and go after that which we, not others, are passionate about. If we set up our minds and lives as others would have us do, our lives become theirs and not our own. I do not want to get to the end of my life only to realize that I did not even live my own life, as I was fulfilling someone else's agenda for life. If we are living the prisoned or pleasant life, we stand the chance of living someone else's agenda. If we are living our if we are living the passionate life, then we are living our own lives, vigorously chasing our own dreams and passions. We will know that we are on the right path because we will feel a much greater sense of satisfaction and joy and knowledge that we, and not others, have the power to dictate where our lives will take us. Uh, Good morning, Stridebox. I'm just reading out of the book I wrote, Live the Passionate Life and Quit Settling for Survival. Um, or actually, I was reading out of it. But yeah, that powerful paragraph, which I've now read 3 times, I will not read again right now. Um, but yeah, it's like, let us reclaim our life's agenda. Yeah, just let us reclaim our life's agenda. And, not what I was reading about there. I wrote my book, talking about talking about living our own agendas and not living someone else's agenda for our life, living our lives as we would have our lives be instead of, like such as living my, you know, such as I can speak on this, living my own life as, my parents or my grandparents, or other family members would have had me do all along, just, um, living, for instance, going through the motions that they would like me to go through and you know, ending up with the life that they want me to have, Um, it's like, here recently you know, I've had family members tell me that, I'm not this way and not that way and whatever, and it's like, um, well, obviously it's like, that is the way it is. So, it's like, can't really, I don't know, you can't really decide now that I'm not that way since, it's a personal choice anyway. And, hey, this is my life. Um, but yeah, it's just like what I was, what I wrote there in that powerful paragraph, just living someone else's life. We get to the end. I don't want to get to the end of my life and be like, oh crap, I wish I would have lived my life that way, instead of, you know, I live my life, as so and so would have had me live my life, but, you know, and maybe that person is happy because, happy with my life because I lived, according to their plan for it, but it's like, hello, this is my life, I don't want to get to the end and be like, that sort of sucked. I never did get to do that, and I wanted to live that way, you know. So it's like whatever. Here I am, just j- my life. It's essentially like, your life is your life. Make as opposed to, just maybe think of it like a movie or social media. You know, make your own content and make it how you would be happy with it. Um, it's like for years, like I was happy going, I was happy on a path, and then it's like, it's like I became I became bored and unhappy with that, sort of. So I'm going this way. I decided to I decided to follow this path. I wrote my autobiography, and I'm doing social media, and started a podcast, and now it's morphed into a radio show. And um, heck, after this radio show today, I'm going and picking up my friend, and we're the one that's making a movie about my life to accompany my book. And it's like I'm gonna go pick him up, and we're gonna go get some shots for the movie. Um, at least some narration background. Um, but it's like for me, especially having had my brain injury and been in a coma, um, and everything, I don't know, maybe it was just my own self confidence or whatever around, stemming from around, what happened to me when I was 11 years old, falling out of the tree, being in the coma for 2.5 months, coming back, and doing all the rehab for that. Um, and everyone everyone trying to keep me safe and keep me, just, I remember my stepmom saying that, I remember my stepmom telling me at one point that the doctors had said that, um, she said that the neurosurgeons had said that if I ever got hit in the head hard enough, that I'd be sent back into a coma and just die right there. I don't know what all that was, but the truth, I don't know if that was something she was saying, just okay, we got to keep we got to keep you safe, stay home, blah blah blah. And, um, you know, dur- during that period, I guess I don't know. But so it was like I carried all this, you know, uh, for years. It's like family members have told me, okay, well, no, you don't want to go do that. You want to do this. You want to follow this path that we've been on, and it's like we all do these things. You got to do this and that, and it's got to be in order. And it's like I don't know. I just gone done my own thing, been on my own path, and following following my passion, following my dreams for my life. And like I said before, I got to one point where I thought that it's like I was I was I basically wasn't going any further. I was down with depression and fatigue, and thought about all this stuff, wasn't going anywhere, doing anything more, and that was that. I wasn't going to leave the town I was in, and just going to stay there forever and a day. And um, fortunately, I did leave, and uh, it's like now it's like I'm just for one, written my book and trying to share my story to help others who may have been in the same spots I've been in, or got the same conditions in their lives. Um, and it's like, you know, maybe try and help some other people through some dark times, in their own lives, and help them, help you and others, you know, maybe reach the point where you can step out of your space that you're in and reach your own dreams, and find and reach your passions. Um, what you're passionate about in life, inspiration and motivation. That's what's gotten me fired up to the again lately. I'm just trying to pass it on, you know. Yeah, trying connecting with and this connecting with people on social media on the other side of the country and the other side of the world is just a miracle when it comes to being able to reach more people. And now of course I'm on VG Radio Universal, which is just so awesome just to be able to be sitting there doing this. It's like during the week, I'm a dishwasher at Trapper Sushi. I'm back there in the dish pit washing dishes. You know, it's like, but here on the weekend, I sort of live for Sundays, not not be not because not just because I'm not at work, not in the dish pit, but because I get to be here doing this and talking to you all, reaching you all, and yeah, but yeah, um, and that one paragraph that I read about reclaiming our life's agenda. That is that has um, added so much passion, so much fire to my life since once I began to do that. And finally after so many years I pushed away that suppression, that force power or whatever that was holding me down, holding me back, um, keeping me in line with that single, keeping me in line with that tradition, that um, design for my life that others had come up with. Um, and it's like I've fallen in love with my own life. It's like um, I love living this life. I love sharing my life, with other people so that it may help them. Um, I love, being connected with so many people and helping people. That's what this life is about. Helping people and serving others. Uh, it's like if it was just about me and my life, that'd be pretty boring. So it would get old. So gotta help others and add others into the mix. Um, what can I do? What can I do to help? What can I do to help the people in my life? Just like with Gary V's community. Excuse me. Um, just like Gary V's post that I alluded to at the beginning of this show, today's show. You know, is in that post, we were asking Gary Vee said, hey, just give a couple sentences what you can add to the community, and maybe give a couple sentences what you can get from the community. It's not all about what you can get from the community; it's about what you can add to the community as well. And like I probably put more than I did. I put more than a couple sentences there, but give a little background about my show, and I said, hey, I'm adding positivity and gratitude to the world with my show, and what I can get from the community. I guess guests from my show that can help me add their own brand of positivity and gratitude, and that's what it's about. Community and reaching others, helping others. Um, And, it's like my guest that I was going to have on my show today. I hope she's okay. Something probably came up. I'll have to reschedule. But, it's like her path is being a life coach, helping others, helping, to maybe guide others through their lives. Um, it's like I said before, I'm a member of the 12-step program, and in there, you get in the program and you get a sponsor to help guide you through the 12-step program and maybe help guide you with decisions in your life. And, um, it's all about helping others. Um, when it gets down to the brass tacks, when you get down to the foundation of it, uh, which uh, from my own experience, going to church, it's like you go to church and basically, um, you get helped or guided, toward a relationship with your God or your higher power, whatever you choose to call your higher power. Um, yeah, and I'm just, I don't know. I guess that's about all I have to say about that. I just want you, you know, uh, just what I guess my point for the day is that we need to reclaim our life's agenda. That that is so powerful, and that's one of Brendan Burchard's 9 declarations, or one of his, I think there's 9, but one of his declarations of personal power. Um, Out of his book, The Motivation Manifesto, and just that, each of them and all of them together are so powerful, and especially when you put them all together. But that one there, reclaiming our life's agenda, living our own dreams, our own passions, living the life that we are passionate about, and not one that others are passionate about. They can go live their lives, their dreams, their passions, and that's fine. But me, I have to do me. I have to live my own life, my own dreams, my own passions, and I hope that for you too, that you can do the same. And because in I don't know, when it comes right down to it, a world full of photocopies, wouldn't be very cool. And so I guess that's about it. And it's about that time anyway, so I'll wrap this up. I hope you've all enjoyed today's show. Um, yeah, hopefully next week if I have a guest, um, maybe I'll reschedule today's guest for next week and see if that works. Um, but yeah, I just want to say thank you for joining me today on another edition of Positive Vibes, and I hope you were able to glean some positivity and gratitude from today's episode and can implement that in your life. And with that, I will just say that stay kind, optimistic, and grateful. And I hope you have a very positive week. And until then, I'm out. And have a great week, everyone. Ciao.